soil and water science areas. We have heard a lot of very good ideas. Bringing my perspective, I'm from here also, once upon a time, but then moved over. Just want to distinguish. We all need to maybe make some cultural adjustments in the long run. Whether we like it or not, it's going to happen. And that is, we heard very good ideas from Malu this morning. That is, there are several pieces in the process here, integrating this whole aspect. And the profitability is the issue. Once we bring that into the equation, it's all going to work out itself. And there will be several players during the process. And if you can distribute the resources, end resources or the profit throughout these people that are involved, then the whole thing will come together and then we can deliver very effective ways. And there are systemic issues that have to be addressed. It's not like we just start here and it's not going to happen. They're very systemic, like just now Dilip was mentioning. It may be what we need here in the Indian context. We have so many small stakeholders, but if we combine, there is a lot of land mass we are talking about. Instead of speaking about one person, 1 acre, how about integrating the laterally and then vertically? So then there may be 1 million acres in a village, or 1 lakh acres in a region, in a watershed, and then approach that with that in that context. Therefore, you will end up with the profitability towards the end. That has not happened in the Indian context because we still talk about small farmers. Someone has brought up a very good point. That it's a vicious circle. We'll never get out of it unless we bring it out and upscale it. So, in order to provide an effective solution, 1 acre I cannot provide. See, each average land holding probably is at least 500 acres per capita in other countries, where we can take a technology, implement, and then produce the results. We may not have 500 with one person, but then together do we not have? And the previous Chief Minister of this state has brought up that at least a few times. And I think that's very important. And while developing my presentation, what I was trying to do was draw a distinction between we use at ICT, Communication and Technology Information. There is information and there is communication technology. These are different things, and then this communication connects the technology and information. And Dr. Sharma has pointed out very well, behind each packet of information there is a scientist. Unless such all these activities are led by the scientists, not the technology, then it will work. We have had so many solutions trying to come into place because the technology wants to overtake the science, and then they are in place, but there is no content. The content has to come from the scientists. So wherever this particular whole process will take us, hopefully there will be scientists at the top of this working towards the solution. And one other thing I'm here to also share with you, one program from the United States that I need to have these slides up. You can keep going. One of them is, while this is coming up, just keep going towards the more. Well, one of the things that I wanted to mention is that along with collaborating and trying to create delivery mechanisms, we need to also put in place institutions that build the capacity. For example, like a soil testing lab or a diagnostic lab or a weather station. Do we have those in place? So if say ICAR, etc., can take care of those such things, and universities produce the research, and then they combine. Soil testing is lot more than just sending a sample. Someone has to make the right test, make the right interpretation, and give you the right recommendations. I went to IFAS lab a few months ago. Dr. Vani was here. He showed me a very nice booklet, which is about the Bhu Chetana program. They have now soil fertility maps for the entire state. Do we have that information digitized? Can we use one of these private institutions to come up and digitize, have that inventory available to us? Do we have the soils map everywhere? There is a world soils map, and for example, there is no representation from South Asia in the world digitization of soils program. Can someone step up and provide that information? That better be a research scientific institution. Okay, so but these are the things that I was going to talk about. Yeah. This is the one, just briefly I will mention. This is the Certified Crop Advisor program. We heard earlier speakers talk about who is going to do that. Is that going to be a formal education through university, or is that through someone else? All the agencies we heard about. So if we talk about the cell phones so much, so where are the cell phone companies in this room? They are getting the service also, right? The price that people are paying, they should be here. I mean, if they are going to be part of the equation. So similarly, this Certified Crop Advisor program is a nationwide program run within the United States and Canada at this time, which is why it's called ICCA, International Certified Crop Advisory Program. There are over 13,000 certified crop advisors in the United States. Who are these people? They have bachelor's, master's, or PhDs. And they one-on-one work with the producers. They take the solution to them. Because all the systems in place, we cannot cater to individual. Once you make the profit as more important and move from the basic sustainability to profit, then we have these people who will provide that information to them. And they will be the ones that we should be training. So we have this in the United States, and there are several topical areas that are covered in the process. And these people have come to India along with going to other places. I am presenting this information on behalf of Luther Smith, who was supposed to be here, who couldn't be here because he was here last week. He had to go back. So they have already come to India, and several of us in the United States that are of Indian origin have helped this program happen, and they have built some basic infrastructure. Can you do the next one? And an agreement was signed in India with Indian Society of Agribusiness Professionals. ICAR was part of this, and several other institutions were part of this in 2009. And there is a 15-member certifying board that was established. And initially there was a grant funding, and currently there are about 350 CCAs in the country. So that's a very small number, when you compare it to the size of India and the diversity we have here. And right now, they are looking for a credible partner in India. And I was, even from the get-go, I was advocating IFAS as one of the facilitators for this, because there are two aspects. One is creating this manpower. And then also the other part is the credible, competent, competent delivery of this science-based information, and that has to have a lot of integrity, like any other educational institution. These certified crop advisors come back and take a lot of courses, continuing education courses every year. To give them, to provide them, you have to go back to the universities and all the other scientific organizations, scientists that there are. But someone has to oversee the integrity of the program. At this time, the private group is unable to do that because they are not competent to do that. So there is a lot of money probably to make, but also there is a lot of productivity that needs to go up. Per capita, earlier this morning I was talking to Dr. Goswami, said each cow in India average produces 3 liters in a day. We all know the average production elsewhere is 100 to 300 kilos of milk per cow. So we are talking two different scales, and that's the gap we have to fill up. And with that, I will take any questions here. But if anyone is interested, particularly, we're going to try and see if IFAS will be interested in facilitating this program, where we really train practitioners who will be able to help the producers directly.
If the course digitized, can it be given on online?
Yes, we do that in Florida. We do that from one location, but it's sent to all the several locations simultaneously, and it's very effective.
How many hours the course?
Per year, in 2 years, after one gets certified, you have to take an exam to get certified, and then in every 2 years we require 40 CEUs, 40 credit hours. One hour of instruction translates to 1 credit hour. So you have to you require 40 in various areas, that is soil and water, nutrient management, crop management, etc. So that's delivered through the universities, people and other research institutes. And we assemble people from private industries, fertilizer manufacturers. If they have a good product, if they tested it through the university system, they do get to come out and then speak about their products. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rao. I do agree with you that within the Indian context, we have the cultural issues of Saraswati and Lakshmi. Both of them who don't talk to each other and don't want to work together. Saraswati is the goddess of is the goddess of wealth. But I think things are changing, and we are changing. Again, another major issue we have is that we always say that knowledge is priceless, and therefore when we try to price knowledge, it becomes very difficult in the country. So I actually agree with you that these are cultural issues, but we are trying to bring in a behavioral change, and that behavioral change is occurring, and I'm fully of a belief that there is a huge